coming right there.
All right, hey guys, we are here with, I got Emery Morgenstern with me. I want to welcome everybody here to Tactical Tuesday this week. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I can hear me fine. Can you hear me okay?
What? Yeah.
Am I muted? You can't hear me? You can hear me?
Wait a minute.
Emery can hear me? All right, guys. Yeah, I gotta mute that one. Anyways, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman's live stream. We do this every Tuesday-ish. Well, actually, we have over 500 live streams. We really do. So, anyways, I've got monitors up all over the place, and but that's the camera right there. You need to be talking into.
Okay.
All right, that's the one right there. All right, we got the mic right here for Emery, so he can hear it. We got a couple of other guests tonight. We got Steve Holland. You guys love Steve Holland. I love Steve Holland, but yeah, I'm gonna have to turn that off because I don't want to look at myself.
That's a little confusing.
That is very confusing. All right. So why do a live stream? I appreciate you asking. The reason why we do a live stream is this is an opportunity for you guys to interact directly with us. For example, some of you guys in past live streams have mentioned things that you guys would like us to do videos on, and we actually just filmed a bunch of those. We did. We filmed, was it 22 videos?
I think it was
20,
like 20,
22.
19, 21.
Now understand, we bring the film crew down from New York City. We film most of the talking parts and everything. But then a lot of the B-roll, we film a lot of the B-roll, but there's a lot of other B-roll that has to be done, a lot of editing. So we basically got 3-4 months worth of material. That doesn't mean it's all going to be used. It's not. We use about 75-80% of those videos. We've got a bunch of other videos that we filmed years ago that are good videos.
Some of them end up being, we watch them and we're like,
meh. So anyways, that's not why we're here tonight. Why we're here is for you guys to be able to interact with us. So what you do is you understand that scroll. Well, it's for you guys. It's actually over here. You got your chat room scrolling over here where you got Jerry J and all the pedophiles hanging out. All right, Jerry, you know I'm joking. I love you. You know I love you, just not that much. Well, you guys, it's going by way too fast for me to read it. So, what you do, if you have questions, you can put your questions in the chat room. And what I'll do is legitimately, I will, what happens is my moderators will take a picture of your question and they will send it to me on my phone, which I think is pretty cool. I have Susan Britcher, a few other moderators, and they will take glorious care of us. But before they do that, though, what I need to do is, you guys see how we wrote Armslist right here, armslist.com. It goes right across Emery's forehead. They're sponsoring the live stream tonight, so I asked you guys to support the guys that are supporting us. If you're not familiar with Armslist, it's basically a firearms marketplace. I got my notes right up here so I can read it for you. All right. Here's the deal. It's kind of like a Facebook local, all right, but for guns, right? So you shop your local area for amazing face-to-face deals. You can actually interact, or you can shop nationwide all the way across with their whole network of 1,300 FFL dealers. All right, you can also sell your own items locally. There's no sales fees, no nonsense, no other BS. You become a member, Armslist, and then from there you pay your low monthly fee and you enjoy all the benefits, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. All right, so you get full access to all of it at Armslist Marketplace, and you buy as little as 2 clicks. There's no compromise. Do it all at armslist.com. Thank you, Armslist, for supporting our live stream tonight. Now, let's get to the important stuff. The important stuff is I'm wore out, dude. You wore out. We've been out in the hot sun all day long. But
here's the good news.
We've been out at the range shooting all day long. That is awesome.
Also, it's our first day of the week.
No, it's the first day of 5 days of classes.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what you meant. So, anyways, tomorrow is a medical class, basic combat casualty care. which is kind of like the military's tactical combat casualty care course, but modified for civilians. We do that tomorrow, and then Thursday is...
Hold on a second. Modified for civilians, just to clarify, is not watered down. Right? It's fit for what we need, because we don't need, and that includes us right now, right? We don't need to put chest seals on people because they're going to be flying on choppers at altitude to get back to the FOB, right? That kind of stuff. It's not, I'm not saying we don't do chest seals. I'm saying there's different reasons for stuff.
Would you like me to elaborate?
I don't care. I'm just explaining to them. It's your thing. I'm not a Delta.
Emery is correct. But basically, think about all your military guys that are out there. You look at any pictures of me here, our military gear. We've got a ton of guns, body armor, ammo, everything. But we also have medical gear. Now, everybody overseas is walking around with what they call an IFAC, individual first aid kit. How many of you guys carry them while you're out Christmas shopping? I know I don't. I don't shop with a IFAC, I don't. So what this class does is we cover all of that, but understand your odds as a civilian be involved with overpressure injuries from IEDs. Now, and we still cover it, but the focus is not in certain areas, and we create more focus in the others. For example, we're going to go over why a soft T wide and why a Cat 7 tourniquet is correct. But more important, let's say you don't have them. What makes those two tourniquets correct? So then if you don't have them, let's say you're at the mall Christmas shopping and that 80-year-old guy has a heart attack and lands his Cessna airplane in the food court. That's a mass casualty. Your EDC pistol is not going to help you, by the way. But why would I take off my belt and have my holster fall off when I'm standing in front of a rack of $100 silk scarves in front of Dillard's, right? You see what I'm getting at? So know what makes a tourniquet correct, and then know how to improvise one. So that's just one of many things we're going to cover in the class. Good stuff indeed. So anyways, that's Thursday, tomorrow. Then Thursday's Combat Pistol 101, followed Friday and Saturday by Combat Pistol Carbine. I've got local law enforcement coming, bunch of great civilians, great Americans, bunch of concerned citizens that we're going to make into capable citizens. It's going to be great time indeed. But I've been out, we've been out at the range all day today. For all my patrons out there on Patreon, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go to patreon.com/tactical rifleman. And you guys know a lot of our YouTube videos get demonetized. And so as far as me flying in the film crew from New York City and buying ammo, understand some of my ammo is $11 a round. All right, and then buying panes of bulletproof glass and all this other stuff. Making videos gets expensive. So patreon.com, we have patrons that support Tactical Rifleman. They keep this channel alive. There's all kinds of perks. They get quick shooting tips and quick tips and question and answer videos and story time with Carl and all this other stuff. But for my Medal of Honor winners, we have different tiers, right? We have Bronze Star, Silver Star, blah, 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 blah. But for my Medal of Honor patrons, once a year, we do a Tactical Rifleman Range Day where we bring in our Medal of Honor patrons and we shoot. We do basically whatever they want all day long. We hang out, we videotape it, custom t-shirts.
We do whatever they want, unless it's you, Erica. We're not going to do what you want.
We're not doing whatever Erica wants. God, no. Ew. Special t-shirts, video. Video will not come out. I'm probably going to post it on Patreon in a couple of days. My son needs to edit it. And then we just did filet steaks on the grill, spirits around the bonfire. We haven't lit the bonfire yet because it happens to be Tuesday and we're doing a live stream.
And it's hot.
But my patron did not want to be on the live stream tonight, so I guess it's just us.
I can't say that I blame him. He's hiding behind that beard.
Anyways, we've been out in the hot sun having a blast. We have indeed. All right, so I have questions come in from Miss Britcher, a.k.a. Mama Bear. This first one is from Jerry J. Threw down $2.
What's up, Jerry? Haven't talked to you in a minute.
Awesome video about Rogers Rangers thumbs up. What he's talking about is this month on Patreon, instead of doing a quick shooting tip, I actually did a video talking about Rogers Rangers standing orders. If you're not familiar with Robert Rogers, he is literally America's first special ops hero. He dates all the way back to before the Revolutionary War. He was actually a colonial ranger commander during the French and Indian War, and his rangers literally messed those, right, fighting for the colonies, but also for King George. The French and the American Indians feared this guy's rangers so bad that he wore them out. First American soft hero, without a doubt. To this day, literally inside the Ranger Handbook, guys, and this one is dated 2017, but every Ranger Handbook that's ever been written, they have Robert Rogers standing orders in it. Now, fast forward, they've modified them into like the 29 rules of Robert Rogers, 29 rules of ranging, which are great rules to live by. But anyways, what I did on Patreon this month for July, I went over the original 19 rules of his standing orders. And everybody's like, well, that was Revolutionary War, so none of them really apply today. Keep your musket clean and your hatchet scoured and carry 30 rounds of ball.
Yeah, but you know what? That applies in the same way that Sun Tzu still applies.
Yes. Now, understand 30 rounds of ball. Well, we don't worry about that now because everybody has 30 round magazines and we all carry a bunch of magazines. But if you look at back in the day, most of your British soldiers, French soldiers, everybody, they carry 20 or 30 rounds of ball. And here is Robert Rogers, Colonel Rogers, saying his Rangers will all carry 60. And that still stands today. The guys that do your Rangers, guys that go, like John Stryker Myers, that would go out and do the MACV-SOG stuff. You've seen all the frag grenades and magazines that he would carry. And basically, to this day, the Rangers carry what we call a double basic load. If you're going to go out and do small unit tactics against a superior force, carry a double basic load. And now that shit gets heavy, it does, but that's why you have to be in shape. You need to be more disciplined than the other regular soldiers. So I'm just using that as an example. So thank you, Jerry. I'm glad you enjoyed that video. It is a big deal.
Jerry, how's your leg doing, man?
Yeah, Jerry.
Haven't heard from you in a minute.
Okay, next one. David Doss, the winner last week, is not in the chat. Can you shout him out in case he is watching and tell him to email before the weekend? Otherwise, we will redraw it next week. What Susan's talking about, guys, is you guys know we usually do a giveaway. Last Tuesday, we did a giveaway of this knife that Emery designed. It's called the Karma. It is made by Lotar Knives, and it is a sexy ass karambit knives. No, you can't have it. You can't. No, don't get me wrong. You could buy one from Lotar Knives. You can't.
Actually, you can buy one from me. I have a bunch too.
Yeah, you can buy them from Emery. Go to primecombattraining.com. But last week we gave one away to David Dost. He was actually the winner of the giveaway. How much is that knife? $500?
That's a $500 knife.
$500 knife. We gave it away last week. So David Dost, if you're in the chat room, understand I can't read your mind and know what your mailing address is. David Doss, now it's only David Doss, not Ray Craddock, who pretends to be everybody else, okay? If you are truly David Doss, take a picture of your screen, your YouTube screen, showing me your actual avatar, David Doss, and then email it to tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. All right, tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. Donate, if you'll put that in the chat room for me, I would appreciate it. Once I get that email from you, David, and only David, not you, Ray. All right, dude, the knife is right there. I don't want it. Don't get me wrong; it's an awesome knife. I have one. It stays in my Denali. All right, that is yours, brother. But I can't read your mind. I can't just tell my son to mail it. Just take it to the post office and mail it to David Dock. The lady at the post office would look at my son like she usually looks at me like, I don't know this address. It's got a 3-digit area code. That's not a zip code. All right. So thank you, Susan, for reminding me to do that. So David Doss, if you're watching, send me your address, dude. Next question is from Big Gus. I would like to hear Emery's opinion on the Masada 9mm AR-15 and the Tavor X95. Thanks, guys. Let's start with the Masada 9mm AR-15.
I have shot a bunch, not all, of the newer IWI guns. Some. I don't own any because I don't have any personal relationship with IWI, so they don't send me stuff. And I have guns, so I don't really buy much. I think, look, let's start with the AR-15 deal.
Okay.
It's good. It's a good AR.
But it's an AR, guys.
It's an AR.
It's an AR. That's my opinion with it.
It's a good AR. It's well made. It's worth the money, just like a lot of other really good ARs are.
Now what about the Tavor?
That's that. The Tavor is where I have some conflicting feelings. Overall, I do like the Tavor. It's what is your purpose? What is your use? And understand that if you've been shooting ARs your whole life, it's going to take a transition period for you to get to develop that myelination process, to get comfortable with it. We call it muscle memory, right? There are many good things about it. My unit, after I left the previous section of my unit that I was in, adopted the micro Tavor. It's smaller than what they sell here. You know how they have that handguard that goes all the way around all your fingers?
Yeah.
So the micro Tavors don't have that, and that's what I got to play with a little bit in the military. In the beginning, decent, not great. I think they've improved on them a lot. I love bullpups. Again, shooting wise, you're getting a longer barrel in a shorter package. That's good. Everybody, y'all know what a bullpup is. I think they're wonderful guns. Are you going to be a sniper with a Tavor? No, but you're not going to be one with a AR-15 either. Accuracy, decent. Reliability, I think I've heard of one gun here in the States from somebody that I know that had a problem. And they changed out parts, that were not factory parts. So to the best of my knowledge, not actually owning one, having shot them, I like them. I'm not through the roof about them, but understand that the best thing about the Tavor is not how fast it shoots or how accurate it is. And it is decently accurate. The best thing about the Tavor is, and I've said this before on the live streams too, when you think of a soldier's life, right? Whether it's an infantry guy or a special operations guy or the dipshit that sits and guards the front gate, what do you do most with your gun? You walk around with it, or you go from kneeling, standing, prone, running, sitting in a bus, sitting in a chopper, running over here, whatever. So for all of those things, I think it is a tremendously comfortable gun. All the weight being back here as opposed to in front means that you can maneuver it more easily. In today's urban combat world, it is a shorter package, and that is invaluable because moving around buildings and all that, I personally, with all the CQB stuff, I love shorter guns, right? I don't do like the 5-inch or whatever for the most part. I have one 7-inch gun that's a good use gun for a purpose.
What did your girlfriend saying? Something about 5 inches?
No, that's on the video I did. Don't bust that.
All right, okay, all right. Okay.
But yeah. So anyway, all I'm saying is when you get a shorter barrel on your AR, you are sacrificing muzzle velocity, and you are sacrificing some of your accuracy and your range, right?
And energy.
Yeah, muzzle velocity, energy. So that it's a great way to get a shorter package without sacrificing your muzzle velocity.
Everybody's big gripe about bullpups is basically because they don't have the muscle memory for it. So I agree with that. Right now, in wartime, we should be running what everybody's running in wartime. Except if you think about it, we're not at war right now. We are in peacetime. So think back in the 80s, right?
Ish.
When I first came in the military, 1985. Yeah, guys, I'm old. That was when the Steyr AUG came out. And I really wish that we had switched to the 5.56 Steyr AUG back then.
Great guns.
Because if you take all the advances in the M16 that we've done, if you did all those advances to the Steyr AUG, and beautiful triggers and optics and rails and muzzle brakes and this, that, guys, we would have a phenomenal platform. But global war on terror, we had to stay with an AR platform. But I want to caution you, we're not at war right now. So if you were going to make a jump to a bullpup, now's actually not a bad time.
Let me say one last thing about the Tavor. And I would love a Tavor in 308. Totally love it. If they made it in 6.8, I'd love it even more. But the one thing I do want to say is the ergonomics are incredibly comfortable. They are good, and it's a product that ergonomics was like the number one thing. It's
my only problem is Israelis make it, and
we're better than you. It's okay.
No,
okay.
I'm honest. Some of your quality control is.
It depends on what. I think with IWI, that's not the case.
Okay, no, I
there
don't
certainly
have
are
a Tavor, guys. I've shot them, but I do not have a personal opinion on the Tavor because I don't have enough experience with it. All right, next one is from the Gustash 2531. Dude, your mom named you weird as shit. He threw down $5. Nice. He said, just finished Angry Americans Home Series Book 11.
Okay.
It was great. The reference to you, Emery, and Chad was cool. But Emery's accent was horrible, LOL.
Hey, don't ruin it. I haven't read it yet. I haven't read it.
He is starting with book 1, and he's actually reading like a caveman. I do them on Audible. I've been waiting until they came out on Audible. I heard they're out now. So my next long road trip, I will be doing book 11. I'm actually right now, let me pull it up on Audible.
Dude, Chris didn't even tell us about it until...
No, he didn't tell us.
Well after the book was already out. He didn't tell us
that we were going to be in the book. He has another series of books right here that's called Charlie's Requiem. This is book 3. Requiem, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This is actually book 3. This series, Charlie is a female that was like selling drugs at a hospital or whatever. Anyway, it's another series of characters in that same scenario that the home series is in. So basically, where a home series follows the main character
essentially Chris
is whoever. All those characters in the home series, it's the exact same scenario, but it's just following different characters. So I'm 3 books into that one. I was waiting for book 11 to come out. But yeah, I am. I've got 9 hours and 54 minutes left on this one, and then I'll start book 11.
You know, for all the grief we gave him about where's book 11, I think it's kind of funny that he actually made his characters.
Good stuff indeed. If you guys are not familiar with Audible audiobooks, and if you're in traffic on the highway in the city, you do not need to be listening to audiobook, but listening to audiobook is no different than you're listening to the radio and singing along to Britney Spears or Tupac to the head, one to the chest, whatever it is you guys listen to. All right. Both great artists, by the way. I like audiobooks. It's how I get caught up on a lot of reference books, but also I like historical fiction, like Gates of Fire talks about the actual 300, the Greek warriors that faced off against the Persian army. But then also survival fictional series. And cool part about Angry American is Chris Weatherman, American, does a great job of taking little survival tidbits like, hey, you can do this to purify water. You can do this. You can eat this plant root. He covers a lot of that in all of his series. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's hilarious that the guy screwed up Emery's accent.
Here's the thing, too, is that we asked him a while back. We were sitting drinking at his house. This is last year, 2 years ago, whatever. And I was like, hey, so what got you into writing novels? Like, not everybody writes novels, obviously. And he literally, here's his answer. He was like, look, I want to convey information on survival stuff to people, but he says, I didn't want to make it boring, and it's just that simple. He made up these awesome stories in order to pass along priceless information. It's cool.
All right, next question is from David Bobian.
Bobian.
Carl, I know this has been asked before, but what is the minimum length barrel for my 5.56 pistol, 200 yard range 0? Thanks, bud. Honest, David, if you're in need of a concealable PDF personal defense firearm that takes the same ammo that everybody has around you, you can go down to a 5-inch barrel, but understand you might as well be shooting 22 long rifle. Seriously.
In terms of hitting power.
No, yeah, the bullets have not had enough time to speed up. That's why they get those big, sexy fireballs that look great at the range. That's all unspent gunpowder. It's wasted energy. For me, our assaulters went all the way down to 10.5 inch. And at a 10.5 inch, we found the bullet still accelerated enough green tip, or 62 grain green tip, accelerated enough to reach the point where we got the massive secondary cavitation. The seals were running shorter, 10 inch and shorter than that uppers. And I had instructors that would show up with 5 inch and 6 inch barrels. And I had a SWAT team, Jamie, showed up at the range with his SWAT 5-inch AR, and we're shooting paper at 5 meters, whatever, 25, whatever. And I brought him up to the 5 meter line, and I had him shoot, and his bullets were going through the paper sideways. Now, that's awesome.
Ammo too.
That's awesome for doing massive tissue damage at that distance. But understand, if you're now having to shoot down the long hallway, or you're having to shoot the other end of the parking lot, you have no right pulling the trigger at all, because your bullets are not going where you're aiming. You need guns that are effective. Now, you specifically mentioned 200 meters. Now, I can't tell you what length you need for you with your ammo, your optic and everything, but for me, you said pistol, I believe. So you're wanting to go as short as possible. I wouldn't go shorter than 10.5 inch. That's just me.
Well, let me give an example here, right? I have a Cobalt Kinetics. By the way, check them out. Cobalt Kinetics. They're sweethearts. I have 2 of their guns. Mr. Poopy Pants. So
I like guns that run all the time. Don't just look pretty.
No, my Cobalt always runs. Always. Yeah, the Cobalts always run. Always. Yeah, no, that was the mag that one day. Don't you do that.
Oh, it was the mag.
Don't you do that shit. I got those hex mags and they were garbage. Garbage.
Yeah, friends don't let friends shoot hex mags, guys.
I was given those to try. The new carbon fiber, blah, blah, blah. That company makes cool shit, not the mags.
Friends don't let
Anyway, here's the point I want to make, right? I took that gun out. Actually, it was here at Carl's house. I have a 12.5 inch gun of theirs. That's one of my main work guns. Love it. And I have a, it's just under, it's like 6 3/4 inch barrel. Okay. Way too short for most anything. Little folding stock. The whole idea is it's inside the house, across the street type of weapon. If I need it. And I have to conceal it. That's just it. Right. I took it here out to just a little beyond 100, maybe $110 or something, top of the hill, and then a few steps. I was getting great hits with 55 ball in terms of accuracy, combat effective accuracy. Okay, on a steel target at 100 plus a tiny bit. Here's the point I want to make. At that distance, I want you to take a longer rifle, a 16, a 14, whatever, and shoot a shorter barreled rifle at 50, 70, 100, whatever, because that's really the max of your effective range there, and you will hear the difference in the hit of the bullet on the steel. You will hear it, and you will go, holy shit, I get it. I'm telling you, that audible report. Yeah, you will get it. You will get it.
Especially if you got swinging targets, you can really see how the longer barrel delivers that much more energy. Susan Britcher said, at Mike Payne, he'll come at you for that spelling. It's Emery, just so you know. Okay, I'm assuming that
You misspelled my name. It's okay.
You misspelled your name.
Thank you, Susan.
Next one's from the Big Fezzig. Susan, would you ask Carl the torque specs for a muzzle brake? LOL.
30 foot-pounds, usually.
I don't give a shit. I don't. I time my muzzle brakes. If they come with a crush washer, I use a crush washer to where it's timed to where I want it. There's some muzzle brakes that they will say, don't use a crush washer. That's so amateur. Don't do that. Pros use the different thickness shims, and you time your muzzle brake or your flash hider that way. That's fine. I get it. But guys, I tighten that shit as hard as I can to the point to where I bend. Like I actually have wrench marks on my muzzle brake. I want the shit tight. I put red Loctite on it when I put them on, or I use what's called rock set. And the guys that say, oh, you never use red Loctite on it. It doesn't matter, guys, because blue Loctite, when your muzzle brake gets hot, you might as well not put any hot Loctite on it anyway. So I don't care that they say, oh, it has to be this or it has to be that. Understand, there's some questions you should probably go to a gunsmith with, not me. But understand, I've never had them loosen up, but I put them on I believe the medical measurement is dead ass balls tight. That's where literally it's in the vise. You got the special grip for the upper receiver, and you are like under the armpit leaning on that wrench.
All right. It's based on manufacturer to different muzzle devices, different stuff. I've heard a good standard is 30 foot-pounds, but I subscribe to Carl's thing. I tighten the shit out of everything. I torque everything.
All right, next one is from Malabanias. Dude on 10
What's
boats.
up?
Carl and Emery. Hey, fellas. Sup? Sup, dude? Sup? If you know, why was the chocolate chip camo pattern retired from service? Because if you look at the time, we were fighting in the theater with Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, in that area right there, and the three-color DC, what's called the DCU, Desert Camo uniform, the three-color DCU blended better than the chocolate chip did. The chocolate chip uniform blended great at NTC in California, the National Training Center. I preferred the chocolate chip uniform for like parts of Afghanistan, but we actually, instead of going to them, they actually got us Desert Tiger Stripes, and that's what I ran a bunch. I actually got videos and pictures of me in the Joff and Fallujah, me and my guys running around wearing the Marine Mar pattern, Desert Mar packs, us wearing Desert Tiger Stripe with Punisher baseball caps. And I apologized to my command sergeant major. I'm like, so Major, I didn't know I was going to be briefing briefing the general. General, oh shit, he was like the Army general over like the whole battle. He's like, Scotty Yule in the middle of a live stream. How about no? Sorry, Scotty, if you're watching right now, dude, I can't answer you in the middle of a live stream. That's funny. That's funny that guys would do that. Maybe Scotty's not watching the live stream.
I don't know.
Scotty, you know I love you, dude. I love you and Josh. You guys are awesome.
They are awesome.
So anyways, that's why the chocolate chip pattern was retired.
We actually got a bunch of those in my unit back in the day, and we had the regular desert camo, the American desert camo, and all that. Depending on where you go, you fit the camo to what you need.
I got one here from Hook. How do you feel about an 11.5-inch barrel AR-15 for urban work? Yeah, great.
I love it.
10.5-inch or longer. We did tests, and don't get me wrong, they make a 75 grain bonded bullet with a certain type of gunpowder that is specifically made for short-barreled ARs.
Faster burning.
All right, yeah. But kind of like you can get plus B plus certain type ammo for your smaller subcompact pistol. Same thing, faster burning powder, not as much muzzle flash because it is all being used up in that shorter barrel. Same thing for your shorter ARs, but
what you have to be careful of is overpressure there.
But I caution guys from running a shorter gun like a 10-inch or a 9-inch or a 7-inch and then saying, well, I'm going to run the special 75 grain ammo for it. Okay, you can custom tailor, you can, but then what about when you're out of that ammo or you have to borrow a mag from somebody else and now you've got cheap 55 grain, which by the way flies great out of 13.7-inch barrel, or somebody hands you 77 grain Black Hills, which has a slow burn rate because it's made for longer barrels, which by the way still runs very good through a 13.7-inch barrel. You see what I'm getting at? Stuff like that.
By the way, before we go on, Hook, because Hook, reach out to me, please. We need to chat. Not right now, later.
Okay. That's from Hook. Hook. All right, Hook threw down 20 bones. Beer money for you guys. Cheers. Hook, I appreciate
Thanks, brother.
that, dude. All right, next one, Steven Rogers. Carl, where did you do basic? I was at Fort Jackson in June 85. I actually started in August. I started in August 1985. I went infantry first. So I did one-stop shopping at Fort Benning, Georgia, and it was awesome. Annalise and Kyle threw down 20 bones at Kentucky Fried Korean. Hope the classes go well this week. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. That would take all the fun out of it.
Hydra.
We're looking forward to Annalise is sending Kyle down to do Operation Black Cat with us down at the Round Canopy parachuting team.
I'm trying.
Down in Palatka, Florida.
I'm
pulling up a seat. We're going to get Steve Holland in here. All right, slide this way, son. Slide this way. Come on, Steve. Come snuggle. Annalise, I've got your candle here called Carl's Cookies. And I'm here to tell you, it smells like blueberry, blueberry cookies.
Blueberry and...
Can you guys smell that shit? Smell that. It smells like blueberry chocolate chip cookies. Why? Because Annalise, her husband came and took a class. Annalise chickened out. So instead of coming, she sent me some blueberry white chocolate chip cookies, and they were orgasmic, dude. These things were
awesome.
That was what I was just thinking, orgasmic.
No, dude, they were awesome, dude. They were awesome.
That was my description when I smelled.
No, the crumbly ones. Wow. The crumbly, soft on the bottom, crumbly shit on top. Dude, you know what I'm talking about, Annalise. That was good.
Damn, dude. Damn. Didn't make you want to slap your mama. That shit was good. All right. We already did that one.
Did that one.
All right, and they're back again with 20 more bones. All right.
Make you want to slap Nancy Pelosi.
Nope, did that one. Make you want to. All right, and your face threw down 2 bones. When can we get more Sergeant Major Lamb content?
Good question.
Actually, I hit up Sergeant Major Lamb, and we are supposed to be getting back together this fall.
Okay.
Rick Lamb, he's good people.
Good people too.
Yeah, so
good people.
I
this
love
fall.
Rick. Yeah.
Michael Johnson threw down 2 bones. Gentlemen, best use application for SR-25. Thank you. You can take a SR-25 down to a good gun store, sell it, and then take the money from that and then buy yourself a truly awesome AR-10 that's accurate and be all. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love my SR-25 Mark 11, but I will never give Reed Knight a dime of my money. So it's a great gun, but understand that is a designated marksman's rifle.
What's your opinion on Reed Knight and the SR-25?
No, we're not going to go. No, we're not going.
No. What I was about to say is
next question.
An accurate rifle.
No, this one's from Robert.
An accurate rifle.
Yeah.
Accurate rifle is an accurate rifle.
No, guys, the SR-25 Mark 11 was an awesome gun. Served me and Sue LaRue very well. Next one's from Robin Patty. Glock and Pop 17. Carl, can you explain to me, what a 1/3 co-witness, how it works, and how to properly zero with iron green dot sights? Thanks. All right. Here's the whole deal with the whole co-witness thing. The whole reason why they came up with the co-witness thing is on your AR rifle, you've got your red dot, but you've got your backup iron sights front and back. Okay? They tell you flip up those backup iron sights, zero them first, and then you can mount your red dot sight, and if you look through your iron sights, all you got to do is dial your red dot, to your iron sights if it's co-witnessed. If it's co-witnessed and you're guaranteed to be dead on balls accurate. Does it work? Yeah. Okay, maybe. But it doesn't really make... Here's my gripe with it is guys that have the fixed triangle front sight, I don't like having co-witnessed with that because it's now in my way. I can't see below my red dot because I've got a fucking front sight post in the way, excuse my language. So I like backup iron sights that if they are co-witnessed, fine, but they're folded down out of my way. So if they're co-witnessed, that's fine, but there's no real advantage to it other than if my red dot shits the bed, I can click my front sight flips up. I'm now looking directly through my dead red dot, and I'm now using my front sight post. I'm using my dead aim point, EOTech, whatever, as a rear sight aperture, and my co-witnessed front sight is dead on balls accurate. Dead on balls accurate. That's the advantage of co-witness. Now, the advantage of a lower third, right, especially if you have a fixed front sight post, what it does for you is if your red dot dies, you can flip up your rear sight and you can still see through your red dot, through the dead piece of glass, and your rear sight and your front sight are still visible and you can line them up. Right now, so the only advantage is it's not obscuring your red dot. But if you've got if you've got folding front and rear, I'd go co-witness all day long. That's just me. But the guys that say, well, you can do this with lower third, or you can do that with lower third, honest guys, so long as it is available in your field of view for you to use if your red dot dies. Because if you think about it, that's all that your iron sights are for. Now,
these days,
one thing I will tell guys is if you're running a low power variable optic, the advantage of these things, this is the primary arms Raptor that goes, it's a 1-to-8, true 1 power, but also all the way up to 8 power. The advantage of going all the way from 8 down to 1 power is now theoretically I can use this as a red dot sight. Guys, it's got a great illuminated reticle in it. Let me turn it on for you.
You just have to understand
gotta go the other way.
Parallax comes into more effect here.
Great red dot reticle. It's hard to see right there, guys. But anyways, it's awesome, right? It's awesome. The problem though is it is a 1X. I got that, but you have got a objective lens and a ocular lens back here and a bunch of other lenses in the way. And when you flip up that front sight and you try to look through this like you do an EOTech or an aim point, it doesn't work. So if you're I want that to sink in, because if you put this on your gun thinking you can run the same backup iron sights, it's not going to work for you. If you're going to run a low power variable optic, you need to either put a 1X, put a small micro dot on the top, or you need to run 45 degree backup iron sights. Serious guys, learn from the mistakes that I have seen guys make. I hope I covered that enough for you, Robin, Patty. Robin's awesome. She is. Did that one. Sorry guys, I'm falling behind here. In your face, Michael Jackson, Glock and Pop. Babaloo7, same thing, man. Your mom named you weird also. Question: can you change a pinned and welded muzzle device on a 14.5 without losing barrel length? Yeah, all you gotta do is break the weld on it, but understand you heating it up enough to mess up the weld. Leave that gun and just get a different upper.
Or get a different barrel, different upper. Yeah, don't do it yourself is my recommendation unless you have a machine shop. The only way to do it correctly,
because it's designed to be permanent.
Yeah, the only way, that's the whole idea. And you're saying specifically without losing barrel length, the whole idea of a pinned and welded muzzle device is to reach a certain minimum barrel length, typically 16 inches.
Yeah.
So leave that, go to Ballistic Advantage, get yourself a new barrel.
Nicholas T, I have a 2-part question. You sound like Susan. Would you suggest switching my 5.56 to 2.23 Valkyrie for an all-purpose rifle?
Meh.
No. No, I understand. If 223 Valkyrie was the answer for everything, it would be everywhere already because it's been out for a while. I understand there are great articles about it in Field and Stream and all these other shooting magazines, but understand these guys that write these articles, they write articles for a living, all right, and they're paid to write articles. I'm not saying that 223 Valkyrie is not a good round. I'm not saying that.
No, but
at all.
here's some considerations, right?
5.56.
Where are you going to
5,
find it
5,
when
6.
shit hits the fan?
5,
Where are you going to
5,
find
6.
it when ammo is
5,
scarce?
6.
That was
Right.
going to be my point of order. I always look at when the shit hits the fan, what are you going to have? I'm not a big 9mm fan, but I do a lot of 9mm stuff, 9mm pistols, 9mm carbines.
Because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
By the way, if I had my choice of ammo, and this is not because Steve's sitting here. Steve already knows my opinion on this. If I had my choice of a battle rifle, 110%, I'm bringing my 6.8. I'm bringing my 6.8.
His other part question is, should I have my war comp set right-handed or neutral for a combat rifle? What he's talking about, guys, is some muzzle brakes. They can understand they're designed to control rise of the gun. For example, the extreme version, the extreme example is some AKs had a cut literally at like a 45-degree angle, and it wasn't designed to reduce recoil. It was designed to stop the gun from climbing high right because they climbed high right on full auto. That's an extreme example. But there are a lot of brakes and flash hiders that you can actually adjust to if your gun climbs left, climbs right, climbs straight up. You can basically what we call time the brake to be wherever. Always go neutral, dead neutral, because you timing something for certain ammo. A good example of that is my 3-gun AR. The brake had little holes on the top for stopping. It was a great muzzle brake on the side, but it actually had little holes on top for stopping climb. And we would drill those out to the point to where, so you'd have to buy extra brakes, but they were actually timed for the ammo that we were going to shoot that 3-gun match with. As soon as I changed the ammo, that brake was now not as optimized as it was before because I'd optimized it for just one round. And that's why I caution people to make it as generic as possible. You want it so if you can shoot it right-handed, but if you had to, you could also shoot it left-handed. So I'm always going to tell you, recommend, again, do what you want. But me personally, I'm going to have you do it
you want a solution
generic.
for that? You're not going to like me for saying this. You want a solution for that? Don't worry about the muzzle brake. You take your support hand,
Lock
I
that
like to
shit
call
in.
it control hand, and you pull that rifle
Lock
into the
that
shoulder.
shit in. Joe S. threw down 5 bones. Hey, guys, for the Patreon class, is pre-day like combat rifle 101 or is it more basic? Is there a list of what is needed for it? Thank you. Excellent question. For all the patrons coming to the Patreon course in November, it's going to be in Texas. We got a nice cowboy town. Going to invite Steve to come. Sularu's going to be there. Chad Mormon is going to be there. Emery's going to be there. Ross and Herstoff from Tactical Performance. And I got nothing but all-stars coming to this thing. Yeah, literally, it's going to be awesome. Now, we do what's called the pre-day. The pre-day is because if you look at the patrons that have signed up, a lot of these guys are bringing their wives. And an example is last year, Toby, who's a sheriff here in Kentucky, brought his blushing bride, Karen. And Karen is not a gun person. They're both Jeep people, but Karen's not a gun gal like Toby is. So she did the pre-day. We have had moms bring their sons. We've had dad brings their wives. We've had dad bring their daughters and sons. The pre-day is designed for people that are they don't have the basics down. So in other words, you're not going to get yelled at and Emery's not going to be hitting your elbow for your elbow sticking out, pieing at a doorway, stuff like that. We start at the basic firearm safety. We're going to go in to loading, manipulation of guns and everything, but we're going to do pistol, we're going to do carbine, we're going to do shotgun, we're going to do lever guns. Now, do a lot of the experienced patrons come that day? Yeah, they come to hang out, the camaraderie, hanging out, and it's a great review. Yeah, but you do not have to sign up for the pre-day. You do not. The 4 days, it's a 4-day long course, not counting the pre-day. So I understand courses are expensive because you're doing hotel rooms, lodging right there, and it's a cowboy town. It's awesome. We got a bunkhouse, which is like $30-something a night. You stay in the cowboy bunkhouse. That's where Emery and Sularu are going to be sharing a sleeping bag. But anyways, it's a great day.
We did talk about a couple of changes for the pre-day this year that we're going to do so that people get more appropriate for their level stuff. So we may do a bit of a split depending on who shows up and what levels are there. We may kind of split people based on desires/skill level.
Yep.
Let's see.
That was that one right there. Is there a list of what's needed? No, there's not a packing list for the class yet. And the reason why we don't have that yet is the whole curriculum is not locked in yet. What I mean by that is we're trying to do platform shooting from a helicopter. No, not hog shooting. Shooting paper targets for score from a moving helicopter. I haven't locked in the helicopter yet. We may be doing land navigation. We will be doing some survival stuff, but the actual survival classes have not been narrowed down yet. So, for example, we are going to be doing precision rifle. We are going to be doing Barrett 50 cal. So if you want to shoot the Barrett 50 cal, if you want to shoot Rofus rounds, go online and find Rofus round. All right, we're gonna have full auto M9s and 5.56 guns there. So, you know, we're gonna ask you to bring your own ammo to shoot through the 5.56 gun or the full auto guns. Again, you're welcome to bring your own guns and everything. So, packing list is to follow. Coming soon to a theater near you. Joshua Putman, Carl and Emery and Steve. Regarding reloading rifle ammo, do you prefer boat tail bullets over Spitzers for different applications or distances, or does it not make much difference? Steve. Then Emery. Then
okay, that depends on caliber. And the reason I say that, you got to take into account the size of the case. How much powder you're burning. When you get into the 5.56 realm, 2.25 overall length, then you go into the 300 blackout, 300 whisper, 760 by 39. Because of what the range can be and your low density, flat base bullets, the difference in accuracy out to that range, whether it's a flat base or a boat tail, is probably going to not make that much of a difference. Then you go into the upper class, up into 7.62 by 51, 308 Winchester, 6.5 Creedmoor, 260 Remington, 6.5 Lapua. That family of cartridges, and now you're pushing out 500, 600, 700 meters. Yeah, both tails are going to make a difference. At the short range that you're going to shoot a short cartridge, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
No.
So let me add something and then ask you a question.
Please do.
Because when I have ammo questions, I ask one of three people, really. Steve being one of them. So a boat tail, right? It kind of comes in a little bit at the ass end of the bullet, right? As it's flying.
Reduce drag.
To reduce drag, right?
Yeah.
What makes the most damage on a fleshy target when you're shooting a tiny bullet going really fast? Is it the bullet piercing the flesh? No, it's not, right? It's the turbulence behind the bullet.
It's called hydrostatic shock.
Hydrostatic shock. That's what makes your actual permanent cavitation. That's way, way, way bigger than the size of the actual bullet or the diameter of the bullet, right?
Yeah, right. You have temporary cavity and a permanent cavity.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep. So if you're not trying to be quarter MOA whatever, which ARs for the most part are not half MOA, quarter MOA guns, you're lucky to get a 1 MOA AR, okay? Standard AR. I'm talking 5.56, right? When you're getting into the longer range calibers, that changes. But, Steve, this is where I want to ask you, do you think that having a a flat-assed bullet would actually increase the permanent cavitation because it does have more drag.
Okay. I have done a lot of ballistic
Short answer is no.
projectile performance based on the FBI standard at the FBI Ballistic Research Lab in Quantico. From what I recall, within a certain distance, certain range, and caliber, everything else, design of the bullet, a flat-based bullet tends to what we like to call tumble more so than a bolt tail bullet. And the initial temporary cavity, permanent cavity, hydrostatic shock, and everything else is a little bit different with a flat base than it is with a bolt tail. A bolt tail, and that's one of the things that I really got into that during Somalia, because our guys were getting hit with AK rounds more so than we did in other previous visits, Okonas. That to me is a more of a medic's worst nightmare versus a bolt tail bullet. A bolt tail bullet tends to continue stabilize, even though you have the hydrostatic shock. It's going to stay on its course and penetrate. Flat base tends to hydrostatic shock, temporary cavity, and it starts to tumble. And when it starts to tumble, that's where you have a more grievous wound than you would from a bolt tail bullet.
And you can take away some considerations of over-penetration. In certain cases, you may want more penetration.
Range
right?
and distance, shirt, jean jacket, flak jacket, ballistic armor, all that comes into play. But on an average, I've known the guy that ran the FBI Ballistic Research Lab. I'm not going to mention his name. I'll ask him later on if I can mention his name on the show. And he ran it for maybe, I don't know, a gazillion years before he retired. This guy is just an encyclopedia of this
Bolt
stuff.
tail, better at distance. It's for stability. It's not for terminal performance.
Stability.
All right.
But terminal performance, and again,
the tip of the bullet is more important than the back of the bullet. All right. Matt D. Tom, Carl, still no update on the full built TR belt. No, I have not heard from Jimmy at ATS Tactical Gear. More to follow on that. Leaf LeBlanc, 3 bones. Hey, gents, thanks for the fantastic POW video with Tilt the other day. See you at Black Cat. Bring Mr. Holland. 2 Rangers lead the way.
You coming to jump?
I don't think Steve's going to jump anymore. Are you done jumping?
Steve, you coming to do some
I'm
rounds?
not saying I'm done jumping. It's never come up.
Well, it has now.
Twice a year, I bring my son down to Palatka, Florida.
You send me the pictures. Actually, send me the pictures.
Yeah. We have a good time. Gravity does all the work, Steve. All you got to do is hang out with me. See, me and Steve are Halo guys, though.
Squat
We're Halo guys. We don't. This static line shit's scary, dude. It's scary.
You hit hard.
Improper pack closing tie. Not one turn, quarter-inch cotton webbing.
JP.
Hold on. We hit hard when we go round canopy. Leaf, you fucking hit hard.
He was, 175. He got down to 240, 275, got down to 245.
Mr. Bob.
Yeah, he did good. They put him in a special parachute called Bob Big Orange Ball. It is a big orange cargo chute. It was awesome. Yeah. It was awesome.
I was about to say, maybe he needed
Leaf, we love you, brother. Leaf's corn-fed boy. JP threw down 5 bones. I want a red dot, but I have a astigmatism. Should I run a primary arm Cyclops 1X or fix my eyesight for a red dot? Any other option? What he's talking about,
tell
guys.
Tell him about the envelope first.
All right. We're talking about when he says the 1X prism. All right, so you got your regular red dot. All right, regular red dot. A red dot is literally nothing more than a red dot projected onto a pane of glass. If you have astigmatism, when you look at things like this, it's going to be shaped like a comma. Certain lights hitting you at night, you get a little star pattern. The advantage of a prism, which the only prisms we used back in the military were the ACOGs, incredibly terrible parallax on them. But that was a 3X or a 5X. It's very bomb-proof.
Good, tough sight.
My problem with the ACOGs is they were made for a 21-year-old Marine with perfect eyesight. So now when I look through an ACOG, I'm old. I'm 55. I'll be 55 here in a few days. That reticle is blurry to me. So why I like the Primary Arms 1X Micro Prism is, if you look right here, guys, this is a micro focusable ocular lens. So now I can focus this so that the reticle is crystal clear. Though it is just like a red dot, it has the illuminated reticle if you want. But the cool part is if it's turned off, you still have the black donut of death. And it's actually what I'm running on my TR1 rifle right now. It's what I'll be shooting in class on Thursday and Friday.
Wow.
Is it as awesome as my EOTech? It is not. But again, I have astigmatism also. Now, I had the surgery done on my right eye. All right, now, understand because what I did, guys, with my pistol, to line up the iron sights, I used to be able to hold them back here. And then I had to have them out here and then out here. And eventually I reached the point where I was like, I'm either going to need shooting glasses or I'm going to need longer arms. And I thought about it. I was like, can you get shooting glasses? You can. But what about the moment of truth? You're at the mall and all of a sudden you've got to pull that EDC pistol. Are you going to have your shooting glasses with you? You might, but chances are not. So I thought about that, and so I went to go get LASIK surgery done, and they're like, we can do LASIK surgery on you, but your astigmatism is getting so bad so fast that if we did LASIK, your eyes would only be good for about 2 years, and then you'd need the surgery done again. So I actually did what they call lens replacement. It's a surgery they do for cataracts. I do not have cataracts, but it's the same surgery. I had the lens replaced in my right eye. Why didn't I do both eyes? One, because I didn't trust them to do both eyes at the same time. But the other thing is because it's insanely expensive and the VA doesn't cover it unless you have cataracts. So I got an envelope and I wrote eye surgery. And whenever I got a tip in a class, I would throw, $20 bills, $200, $5, $1. You're getting ready to go have that $7 foo-foo coffee at the coffee shop. I think I'm going to skip it, and I'm going to put that $20 bill in my eye surgery envelope. So anyways, that's how I buy things. I don't inconvenience my family. I don't create financial hardships on my family. If I want something, there's a difference between need and want. If I want something, I don't put it on credit cards. I don't do that. I get an envelope, and if I want something bad enough, I'll put shit in the envelope. And so that's what I do.
Two quick things. I'll give you a cute Carl story here in a second. The first thing I want to say is, don't fix your eye for a sight. Fix your eye for you.
Yeah.
Fix your eye. Fix your eye. That's more important than what sight you got. If you fix your eye, it doesn't matter what sight you have, right? That's A. B, here's the cute little story, little ditty I have on Carl. Literally the first time I ever met Carl. Don't worry, it's not one of the embarrassing ones. The first time I met Carl, right? We're hanging out, we're chatting, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, hey, listen, I'm a shooter, you're a shooter. Here's my advice to you. I'm like, roger that, I'm listening. He goes, get an envelope. You take yourself an envelope and you write eye surgery on the envelope. And every time you can, you get an extra bill in your hand, you throw it in there for eye surgery. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, old man, I'm good to go.
Because eventually,
sure as shit, last year, my left eye started going and I'm getting that warp and it's on and off, but anyway,
what do I
cute
know?
little ditty. Cute little ditty. I didn't really say the old man part, but it was cute for the story.
Yeah. What do I know? I don't know nothing. All right. Blah blah blah. We already did a couple of these guys. I'm trying to. All right. Fancy Pants and AR-15s
Fancy
threw
pants.
down 20 quid of the Queen's money. What is your opinion of the point blank simulator now that you had it for some time? Is it good training? I am looking at getting this set up when I have room for it. Thanks. There are different, what we're talking about is like a dry fire simulator that's kind of, you guys have played the first person video games, Xbox and PlayStation and everything, where you got your controller and you're basically aiming with it. Picture that type of technology, but made so that you can actually have a dry fire system on your gun, whether you're shooting a SIRT pistol with a laser, or like I like the Cool Fire Trainer that has a CO2 cartridge that cycles the slide of my actual gun with my actual optic and my actual light. My grip, my trigger squeeze, everything is the same. You just put in a different barrel that's filled with CO2. It's got a little piston for racking your slide. The point blank training simulator is made in the UK. There's another one here made in the States.
Smokeless range.
What is it?
Smokeless range.
Smokeless range.
And
My
actually,
buddy Byron Russell
I was just gonna bring
teaches
that up.
classes on it. I'm going to do a video on both of them because I've had a time to play with point blank training simulator and smokeless range a little bit.
By the way, Byron's on here.
Is he? Well, hi, Byron. The advantages of both are they're awesome. In the wintertime, guys, when there's snow and there's sleet outside, or you can't get out for whatever reason, you live in an area where you can't get to the range, but you still want to dry fire and train, both of them, Point Blank Training Simulator and Smokeless Range, and there are others, but those are the two that I think are the best on the market right now. They're both awesome. Now, the differences between the two is Point Blank Training Simulator, you pay a monthly fee for different options. And don't get me wrong, they're awesome. The guy...
And you get a lot for it.
The guy actually set up all of my critical task evaluations that we did videos on. He did them all, and I ran them, and I'm like, holy shit, these are awesome. Byron Russell teaches classes with the Smokeless Range, and he actually took the Rogers computerized combat pistol course and made, because you have the advantage of make your own ranges. Are his as sexy as like the ones that Point Blank Training Simulator made? No, but now could Byron sit down, put a little more work into it, and make them like to scale, measure everything, without a doubt. I have no doubt that Byron could do it. So to answer your question, I have played with it. I have not played with it enough. I do not consider myself a subject matter expert to point where I would say one is better than the other. Nada.
Let me say this a second. Really?
In the middle of a fucking live
Really?
stream.
Hey, Byron, listen, I know you're watching. If you want to give your 2 cents on this, go ahead and text me. I'll read it out loud.
But no, it's good stuff, guys. It is without a doubt. All right. We already did that one. Susan actually had one, and she doesn't ever put stuff in. But basically, it came up, and it wasn't just her. People ask if you take your iron sights off your pistol. Let's say you put on a red dot, so you have to now run taller iron sights. Or you take your iron sights off and you go to put different iron sights on. Like I put Dawson Precision competition sights on my Glock 34 for 3-gun. I've since taken them off because you don't need it. You don't. When you put iron sights back on, they're automatically dead on, is what their questions are. And that is, no, it's not. Anytime you remove sights and you put new sights back on, understand, well, I'll use a Glock as an example. It has a fixed front sight, but the rear sight is adjustable for windage. So if you don't have it centered correctly, for example, my Glock 45 I was just shooting earlier, my rear sight is slid way off to the side because I threw it down on the gravel. I like to beat on the optic to see if the optic can take it. Unfortunately, the piece of gravel, this was 3-4 months ago, hit the rear sight and slid the rear sight over, it still broke the solar panel on the optic. The optic runs great. I'm still running. I haven't.
You don't
touched
need the
nothing.
stupid solar panel anyway.
Yeah, you don't need it. But anyways, your rear sight needs to be 0. Now, some sights or some pistols, the SIG 320, for example, has a front sight you can drift left to right. Some pistols have got rear
1911s.
sights. Yeah, rear sights that are adjustable for windage elevation.
Hold on. I will say this. Let me add this about Glock front sights. So Glock front sights, the front sight post, there's a screw that goes in, and there's a cap for the screw, like a nut, that goes in from the bottom, okay? So essentially you would think that it relocates perfectly. Often, kind of. What you do want to be careful of there is you can have it a little twisted.
A little left and right.
Right? So you want to make sure that you get it straight.
Make sure it's square. Excellent point. Thank you, Emery. Axe Kicker. Do you happen to give any courses on longer range rifle shooting, not tactical, but more sporting like bench, scoring, etc.? Seems I heard you say you were in Kentucky. I am in Kentucky, Western Kentucky, just north of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. We teach what's called Tactical Precision Rifle 101, where we'll get out to 1,100 meters. Normally, it depends which range we're teaching the class at. I can teach that course at a range that has 500 meters as the max, because what I need is, I don't need students to be able to hit at 1,100 meters. I need students to be able to learn. And the reason why I say I need a minimum of 500 is because part of your learning is not how to hit at distance. A monkey can hit pulling the trigger if I tell them where to aim. But more important is I want the clients to learn the effects of environmental conditions. For example, 20-degree temperature change from when you zeroed your gun is going to move your point of aim. Let's say it's 20 degrees hotter. It's going to move it 1 minute of angle higher. No big deal. That's an inch at 100 meters. No big deal, right? Now let's rephrase that, okay? Because let's say I zeroed my gun, my rifle, 3 months ago. It was 50 degrees, right? It was 90 today, right? So that's a 40-degree temperature change. So that's 2 minutes of angle just from temperature change, all right? Now, at an 800-meter target, that's 16 inches of shift that my bullet is now hitting high. Guys, 16 inches, that's a miss. You understand? That's a miss. Now, not only is it temperature, it's density of the molecules of the air. So if I left from here where I zeroed the gun at 50 degrees and now I'm up in the mountains in Ethiopia where I'm at 9,000 feet and it's 90 degrees. So I've got 16 inches higher because of temperature, but I'm also 7,000 feet higher shooting on the rim of that volcano. For every 1,000 feet of elevation change, that's 1 more minute of angle shift. So now because I'm at 600 feet here, so I'm literally 6 more minutes of angle. So now I'm 8 minutes of angle. So 8 times 8, because that's an 800-meter target. Guys, you're missing by a lot. And then you get into winds and everything else. So as far as teaching best bench rest shooting, bench rest is just a position. We teach bone support, muscular relaxation, good natural point of aim, all the shooting, the respiratory pause, all that. We teach all that. But bench rest shooting is just bench rest shooting. That's one of many shooting positions. So the course I would recommend for you would be Tactical Precision Rifle 101. We only the next one will probably be, I think, April next year. Guys, I will start adding next year's classes to the calendar in September. So be on the lookout for it then.
Jamie Gab.
All right, next one is from Macabanis, 3 on 20 more bones. Mr. Holland, welcome aboard.
Oh, here he is.
Carl, for the Carbine 101 course, do prescription glasses satisfy the iPro requirement? And are there hundreds of headlamps? And there are hundreds of headlamps on the market. Can you narrow them down for me for the Carbine 101 course? Yeah, prescription shooting glasses are fine. I would rather you have wraparound, but it doesn't matter.
As long as they cover enough, right? If you have the real small ones, no.
Yeah. No reading
right?
glasses.
You need some good surface
prescription
area.
shooting glasses. Understand if I was going to bring you in the shoot house and we were going to do explosive breaching and flashbangs landing at your feet, I would insist on full wraparound glasses or actual goggles. That's not what we're doing. We're doing flat range shooting on paper. As far as headlamps, I like smaller headlamps. So, I like what's called the Petzl E-Light. It's their emergency light. It comes in a little red case. It's got a little rubber band. It has got red strobe, red light. It has got different brightnesses of white light, along with white strobe. And it's got a little clip, so you can clip it on the visor of your hat. You can clip it on your T-shirt. For the most part, what we did for those overseas, we just hung it around our neck like a necklace. If you look at a lot of pictures of special ops guys, that right there, guys, in the picture is literally my. You don't have to pull it off the wall, but that is my little E-light hanging around my neck like a necklace. It's not real bright, but it doesn't need to be. All the headlamp is on a forward operating base overseas. We couldn't have the lights on in the parking lot because the bad guys would aim their mortars and their rockets at night at the bright light. So the camps were completely blacked out if there was an indirect fire threat. And if you needed to go to the shitter, you came out and you had your little light. You just hung it around your neck and just turned it on, and it would project enough light at your feet. You needed to read something, you could turn it on, whatever. But for the most part, we walked around at night without our lights on until you got to wherever you were going. If you needed light, it was there, but we never really needed it because you develop good night vision. And then if we were going outside the wire, we were running nods. I'm very comfortable in the dark, guys. I like the dark. The dark is my friend.
Guys, you get used to it and you get to like it.
Yeah.
Be that predator. Don't be the victim.
Wow, I got way behind now. All right, I'm jumping,
guys. I by the way, owning the night doesn't come from having night vision. Owning the night comes from
working in the dark. Scorched Earth firearm training threw down $2. Hey, Sergeant Major, were any of you three a drill sergeant? I was never a drill sergeant.
Never a drill sergeant.
I actually came down on orders to be a drill sergeant, and normally when you go be a Green Beret, you stay on an A team for 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years, that's it. And then you go to a staff position. You go to the B team, you go to the C team, you go work where Steve was, or you go to SWIC to the schoolhouse, or you go be a drill sergeant, you go be a recruiter. But most people get 3 or 4 years. You go there for 3 or 4 years, and then you come back to an A team, usually one rank higher. And so you got guys that are well-rounded. Whenever my name came up to go be a drill sergeant, I was deployed in Ethiopia, and Eritrea attacked Ethiopia. I started getting combat pay, which is cool. But because we got extended, they canceled everybody's orders. So I didn't have to go be a drill sergeant. I got to stay on an A team. My next time came up, and same thing. I was supposed to go SWIC, go to the schoolhouse, Fort Bragg, and the towers fell. That got me out of the next time my orders came up for Bragg. I actually got promoted to master sergeant, got moved to the other troop as a team sergeant for the sniper A team, and that got me out of orders to go to SWIC again. I have 0 staff time. My first time on a B team was as company sergeant major, so I'm not very well rounded. All my time was hiding under a rucksack.
So I actually was for one basic training. I was a commander of basic training team for my unit. And that was it. And I was like, you know what, get me out of here. No, I'm going back to ops. This is not my thing.
New York City Drummer 23 threw down 5 bones. Sup?
What's up?
Sup, Marvin? Sup?
Mavin.
Sup?
Stavin, Mavin?
Please recommend the best level 4 body armor plates in your opinion. Thank you.
Oh.
I don't have any level 4 plates I recommend. I love the Dayton Armor ones because they're insanely lightweight. Now, here's the deal. A lot of their inventory is not on their website. What I mean by that is they custom make armor for varsity team units. and they have level 4 plates made. Shit, they've got pelvic girdle plates, and they've got all kinds of crazy plates. Their stuff is awesome, but I can't just say the name Dayton Armor because you're not going to find the plates I'm talking about on their website. I'm not a subject matter expert on plates, Marvin. I wish I could just give you my best recommendation, but armor improves and changes with technology very, very quickly. When you guys start buying armor, and this is for all you guys, you buy armor, there are different level plates, 3 alpha, which is actually lower than 3. You got level 4 plates, right? Now, you get those plates at those different levels, you pay price. But understand all the level 3 plates, if you put them all side by side, they're all level 3. But then what makes them more expensive is the lighter they are. All the level 4 plates, they're all level 4, but the lighter you go, the more expensive they are. And then you get into multi-hit versus single hit. What I mean by that is the Army was running ceramic plates that were single hit. They were designed for the guy to get shot once, for him to survive anything. It could be a SVD round. He would survive that, but his ceramic plate was now shattered, and his buddies would drag him out of the fight, and the fight would continue with other guys. SF guys didn't have that option. So our plates were they were called multi-hit plates, but they had to be able to take a minimum of 10 hits before they failed. And but because of that, our plates were more expensive than the regular Army's plates. Again, I don't know what brand, because we changed all the time. After every deployment, they would x-ray our plates looking for cracks. And after a while, they quit, because if it failed, if you had a crack, they would take those plates away. They'd replace the plates. And understand, it took a month, basically, for them to x-ray our plates, because I got 80 guys in a company. We all have a front and back plate and side plates. That's a lot of x-rays. After a while, we had such a high failure rate, they quit x-raying them. After every deployment, they would take all our plates, and they'd give us all brand new plates. That's how important it was to us. U.S. military had that budget. You guys do not. So I ask you, take your time, get the right stuff.
By the way, also, if you're counting your shekels in terms of buying gear like I do, depending on your use, you may want to consider steel plates. And the reason I say it, are they sexy? No. But they do an excellent job for a low buck. And
if you're not going anywhere, if you're just sitting at the end of your hallway guarding the safe room that's got all your kids in it, steel plates are the way to go. All right, next one, Axe Kicker threw down 5 bones. Being you are in Kentucky, have you spent much time at Knob Creek?
Gun range.
That's a gun range. And then he says, rest in peace, machine gun shoot. Actually, I've only gone one time. I always wanted to go. I didn't realize it was right next to Fort Knox, which is only 2 hours from here. All these years, I never went. I didn't know it was this close. 4 years ago, we held 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we did our Patreon course there, and the Saturday night of our Patreon course happened to be the night shoot at the machine gun at Knob Creek. We brought all the patrons. We loaded them all up. We went down there. We had Glenn and Susan Britcher.
I was going to say, you know who had the most fun? Susan walked out
shooting a 240 machine gun.
Yeah.
She put like 400 rounds through a 240.
Damn.
And
yeah, she had a ball.
But they had miniguns and all kinds of stuff. A Knob Creek machine gun shoot was a once in a lifetime thing that
for
unfortunately
us, literally
nobody will ever have a chance to do it again. I thought it was very, very cool.
Wow. Shout out to Big Al Crawford.
Big Al is in the
Al's
house.
here?
Al's in the house.
Hey, baby cakes.
Awesome. JP's
What's up?
back with 5.
Big bad Silverback.
Thank you all for your service and advice, Jay. I appreciate that. Honest, guys, if you leave comments under my videos, I do read all your comments. I may not always answer them, but if you have a legitimate question, I try to answer it or I try to pass it on. Been a lot of great questions for John Stryker Myers from Friday's video that I've passed on to John. G91R threw down 2 bones. Former Rakkasan, 3rd Battalion, OIF 7 and 8. Just saying hi. Thank you for your service, brother. I appreciate it. Jamie Gap threw down 20 bones. Well, thank you, Jamie.
Numbnuts, we love you.
15 bones for your ammo fund and range maintenance. 5 for H2O. For combat the heat and classes this week from Dr. Gap and the dogs. This is from Jamie's dad. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I do. Next weekend, we're on the range Saturday night, but let's look at grilling next Sunday night. I'd love to have the whole Gap clan up. We'll have Steve back up Sunday. And yeah, let's get together. You bring your sister Jessica. You even bring the dogs with you. We'll all come visit.
Baby's a must.
Yeah. Eco Sophist, thoughts on the new Primary Arms SLX Hunter TM 3-9 50 millimeter second focal plane rifle scope. Thinking about putting on my rifled shotgun barrel for Sabo slugs to hunt deer.
Asking for a friend.
All right.
What was the optic again?
It's a 3-9. It's a 3-9. It's got the SLX Hunter, which is a decent reticle. Here's the deal. That's an awful lot of scope for a shotgun, number one. Number two, I would rather you go with instead of a 3-9, I'd rather you go with a 1-8. This is a 1-8. Here's why I say that. On 1 power with the illuminated reticle, remember, because you're using rifled slugs, I have shot more deer with a 30-06 straight down underneath my tree than I have at 300 meters with a 30-06 with a 3-9. Now, I've got a stand where I can get out to 600, and I've dropped a lot of deer with much bigger section.
Well, but hold on, where do you live?
But he's talking rifled slugs.
Where do you live? It
doesn't matter. He said rifled slugs. He's within 100 meters.
Yeah, you're under 100 meters for sure.
He's within 100 meters.
Yeah, you don't need 9 power.
When you hunt Fort Campbell, which is a big hunting preserve for military and civilians, most of the season, what you would call rifle season, which starts with the rut in November, is actually shotgun season. And I hunted Fort Campbell probably 11 years with a rifled barrel shotgun, and I chose to go with a 1.5 to 5, and that covers just about anything I can get at that range. You know, I run an 870 with a 22-inch rifle barrel, and I use the Remington copper solid Sabo slugs, and they will hold probably a 2 or 3 inch group at 150 yards, and that's about as good as you're going to get.
And let's be honest, for 100 yards, you don't really need magnification. You know, I mean,
it's better for making sure you don't have twigs in the way and stuff like that.
It's a slug.
Austin Burke, the whole thing it's a brush gun. It's just going to push through the brush. That is not true. That is so not true.
That's not true. That is a ballistic missile on its path, and you touch it,
it's gone.
It's moving.
Austin Burke threw down $5. How do you feel about the Shadow Systems MR920 or any of their pistols? Just bought one and love it. Well, Austin, obviously you love it. I have zero experience with any Shadow System guns at all. You ever shot Shadow System pistols?
No.
I've shot a couple, but they felt like a souped up black.
I don't have enough experience with them. I'm sorry. I know you just pissed away $5.
If he loves it and it works for him,
that's it. As long as it's reliable. Am I gonna bring a competition STI that's a tack driver and a 1.5 pound trigger, and I got to tune magazines to it? Am I going to bring all of that to a combat zone? No, I'm not, because I need guns that are reliable and going to go bang every time. Benny Hill, we all know Benny Hill as the comedian, but Benny Hill is actually a grandmaster competitor, but also grandmaster gunsmith down in Texas, older guy, and I think he's 70-something. But I would shoot the Rock Castle Pro-Am, and 2 years straight, he was in my squad. He ran a tricked out STI. Now, this is the grandmaster gunsmith. You know his gun is tricked out. It runs, right? It runs.
Yeah.
Every year I went to the prize table before him. I know I'm in better shape than him. That's not why. Every stage, he would shoot a couple tenths of a second faster than me on every stage with his pistol. Now, but at one stage out of 10, it was actually 2 stages one year, his STI jammed. And in the time it took him to do top rack, do all this crap clearing a double feed, my Glock never shit the bed. So if you love that gun and it runs for you and it's reliable, that's fine. But I challenge all of you guys, if you get one jam every 500 rounds, that is too many for me. That is too many for me.
By the way, also, understand that, and I don't mean to be like demeaning or anything, because I don't know what kind of shooter you are, how much you shoot, but if you've gone out and shot a couple hundred rounds through the gun, you don't know the gun yet, right?
Yeah.
You shoot a couple thousand rounds before you even consider giving yourself an opinion on whether that gun is functioning the way you want it or not.
That's another gun.
That would be my recommendation.
All right, we did that one. Jimmy Gap. Second focal plane. Shadow System.
There we go.
Eco Sophist is back with 5. Gotta go feed the horses. We'll catch up later. Hopefully you'll see my free chats. Thanks, Tactical Rifleman Team. Dude, so long as Susan sends your questions to me, I'm completely good with it. Completely good. Max Montana, any comments on the bolt action precision quick change barrel rifle, the Seekings Havoc HIT? Understand the whole quick change barrel thing came out when the U.S. Army had a requirement for being able to change barrels. That came out, the precision rifle contract, special purpose rifle, advanced sniper rifle is what that contract wound up being. It went to the Barrett MRAD. When it was first awarded, it went to Remington with their barrel. Now, FN came out with their ballista rifle. The Accuracy International AXMC was their submission. That's the rifle I have. But why they came out with that requirement was so if you needed a heavier round 338 Norma to deliver barrier penetration, or whether you needed a long, insanely long range accurate round, the 300 Norma, or whether you just needed an in-close gun 308 118 LR 175 grain Sierra Match King, you could change barrels in that. Now the added benefit was, let's say I was in theater and I shot out the barrel in my M24. It went from half MOA to 4 MOA in one afternoon. The barrel reached its life, it shot out. I have to send the whole gun back to Remington to get the barrel replaced. I wouldn't have to do that with these quick change guns. I literally emailed back the rear, hey, I need a new 300 Norma barrel. And they would get a new 300 normal barrel. It would come with the bolt face locked into the barrel in a nice sleeve from Barrett Firearms, and it would be mailed over to my safe house. Take it out, put it into my gun. I take the old one, put it, send it back to them. As far as my opinion on that particular gun, the Havoc, honestly, I don't have any experience with them. One thing I will say is, just because the military has that requirement to change barrels, understand every time you change barrels, you now have to re-zero the gun. You have to re-zero the gun. It's not like in the movies where snipers can take their shit apart, put it all back together. You have to re-zero the gun. So instead of paying 3 times as much for a rifle as a civilian, it would make more sense for you to buy a great 300 Norma, a great 6.5 Creedmoor, 2 separate guns that you don't have to take anything apart, that are optimized for those calibers instead of optimized to be able to switch. You see what I'm getting at? You could make a beautiful 6.5, you make a beautiful 300 Norma that have a lot less moving parts and things that could loosen up in them. So again, just my 2 cents. What do I know? All right, we did that one.
You know, I saw one that came in that I want to. Holy shit.
No, we got to.
No, look at this.
308 or 65 asking for a friend. That's New York City Drummer 23. PRI or Knights Armament. Marvin, you understand you're just pissing money away. Jerry J, $5. What is the total elevation for a 2-mile shot, Steve? I just poking with stick. Smiley face crying.
Put a pin in that until Steve comes back.
Steve isn't here.
Steve, what do you
say? He's just poking Steve with a stick.
Look at that screen a second.
What's that? No, we'll get to it. They're sending it. Red Mesa Labs threw down $100.
That
will there be any combat trauma training in 2013? Also, hello, Emery from Drew.
Yeah.
2023.
Drew,
yeah, guys.
Drew's a good friend of mine.
Drew, in September we are going to post our Tactical Rifleman 2023 training schedule at tacticalrifleman.com. We are going to be adding. I think we're going to have 5 or 6 medical classes. Standalone medical classes, and then also understand like when we do a high-risk travel class, there'll be a medical class either right before that or after that. We also include a medical trauma block in our Patreon course. So
hey Drew, what's
Drew,
up, brother?
How are you doing now, dude? Drew,
Drew's a good friend.
Yeah. I appreciate Drew doing shit like that. I appreciate it, man. Every time my phone closes, I've got to go running back. Oh, makes me want to kill shit. All right, Prep Brothers Homestead. Can you change spring stronger, lighter in a pistol to help with a weaker wrist person older that has some cycling problems? Thank you. When you say talk about, so that you guys know, right, because I have a lot of novices that might think I'm talking about the trigger bar spring. I'm not. What he's talking about is the actual recoil spring. Can you put in a lighter spring so that the gun is guaranteed to recoil back better? You understand you're going to need a heavier spring to make it close if you've got a limp wrist. Now, the flip side of that is guys that have limp wrists are also going to be the same guys that have a hard time racking the slide. So they're going to be the ones that want a lighter spring so that they can rack the slide. Your better option would to go with a gun that has a lighter slide. In other words, get a slide, the same spring, but that's been lightened because they've cut holes in it, slots, this, that, and the other. Have somebody lighten the slide for you. If somebody has lighter wrists, now I understand with limp wrists, soft vagina hands, you don't have a lot of muscle mass in your forearms. That gun is going to kick more. It's not going to have fast follow-up shots, but the heavy spring will reseat that slide. So
there are aerobic exercises if you got someone that has a wrist.
We have
it's not just a wrist.
Honestly, guys, this is something that we talk about a lot.
We get it a lot.
With Donnie Bones. This is something we talk about a lot in shooting pistols in general. By the way, also applies to shooting rifles. And wrist stiffness is something that has to be developed. I learned about wrist stiffness and its importance and how to do it and how to teach it and all that actually from my good friend Rawson with Tactical Performance Center. And it's one of the key elements. So to follow-up shots, to faster and good follow-up shots. So if you have a wrist problem, which I do, my problem is not wrist weakness. My problem is lack of motion because of all the bone transplants and stuff.
Well, that's just actually what the problem is back in your younger days, you should have been using your gun hand instead of your offhand.
First of all, this is your control hand, and this is the problem. This is the hand I used, and this is the hand that was broken many times.
I'm going to invite the chat room to keep this PG-13.
But I'll answer that, but don't read it out loud. Because it's Jerry. It's Jerry. So
Jerry, Emery will say yes or no.
Yes.
There
yes,
we go.
Jerry.
That was good.
I have.
Okay.
Wrist stiffness is very important to develop, and actually we're going to do wrist stiffness, not strength.
Wrist stiffness.
You just pissed away another $2, Marvin.
Wrist stiffness.
Guys, it's important. Even if you have problems, hold on. Even if you have problems, there are things you can do to help improve it. Okay, and it's not just strength; it's how you stiffen the tendons, not necessarily only the muscles. Cool.
All right.
And again,
Susan, I think we got caught
see how
up.
stiff that is? Look at that tendon.
You are pretty stiff, man. You should loosen up.
Look at that tendon. Look at that tendon strength.
Not yet.
Wait a minute. Put your hand up. That's not stiff.
All right.
No, stiff. Do it again.
Okay. All right. So, guys, we are caught up. We are at an hour and 40 minutes already. Here's the deal. We're not going to do a live stream tonight. We're not going to do a giveaway. We're not going to do a giveaway tonight.
It's like, what the hell have we been doing for 2
I know,
hours?
this has been a live stream. Yeah, we're not going to do a giveaway tonight. A couple things I wanted to talk about, though. I did mention that the Tactical Rifleman calendar for 2023 is going to go up in September. That said, we've got a bunch of classes in September, October, November, and December that I still have slots that are open for. Yeah, without a doubt. I had Justin Michael connected, guys.
This is the one that's going out.
Didn't work out.
You already have
on
one.
live stream. On live stream
been
right now.
Procrastinating.
Guys,
I don't know why you got to steal mine. I gave you one. Steve,
they're trying to
I'll have
find
you
me a
know.
class, a assistant instructor for tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow's medical class. Travis Hall is normally our lead instructor. Unfortunately, he had a good buddy of his commit suicide, and
God bless him.
yeah, former Marine, and so my heart goes out to Travis Hall and everything. The sad part was Travis had got this guy a companion dog 11 months ago, and so anyways, Travis has to go take care of this guy's dog.
Give your veterans a hug, people.
It's hard, guys. It's hard, and everybody wants to be cavalier and say, well, yeah, shit, if somebody commits suicide, they just weren't tough enough. No, that's not fair, guys. You don't understand all the stuff that's going through their head and all the things that they've been through. Unfortunately, there's way too many military people that are taking their own lives, and to say that it is law enforcement guys and EMSs and everything, the reality is there's a lot of mental anguish out there, and we shouldn't slight it at all. So Travis is taking it personal. And Travis, if you're watching, I know you're on the road, you're heading that way right now. If you're listening in, dude, you getting him that dog 11 months ago may have been what brought him off the ledge 11 months ago. So you got your friend 11 more months on this pretty blue marble. So please don't beat yourself up, Travis. You are awesome.
Travis.
It's just how it is. So, and with our heart goes out to Travis. We just had another one. We had a couple more come in. Susan's been dinging my phone here. Zach. Hey,
What's up,
Carl
Zach?
and Emery. If you could
And
only
Steve.
choose one gun, pistol or rifle from World War II to add to your historical collection, what would it be?
M1 Garand.
In one grand.
Fuck no.
Fuck yeah.
No,
Oh, dude.
dude. No.
M1 Garand all the way.
No.
Can we make the flushing sound?
I know, right?
No, I want the Boffers 40 millimeter anti-aircraft gun, the quad.
You went
that
there?
was on almost all of our Navy vessels. It's a great gun. It actually still to this day sees its service life. They're still used on the AC-130 Spectre gunships. Everybody knows your current version of the Spooky has got your two 25 millimeter Gatling guns, and the way back it has got a 105 howitzer. But the most accurate gun on that plane is the semi-automatic Boffers 40 millimeter gun that dates all the way back to pre-World War II, and that would be the gun, pistol or rifle, from World War II that Carl would want in his collection.
Cool.
Now,
that was a cool little gem.
when it comes to World War II, I mean, I am a big M1 Garand. I grew up with an M1 Garand down in Brunswick, Georgia. My grandfather was a World War II veteran. He had his M1 Garand for World War II. I don't know how that worked back then, but they got to bring their rifles home with them, which is God bless America. They could do that back then. So I grew up with M1 Garand and 30-06. The 1911 is a tough second runner, but to give all due respect to the actual weapon system, I would also throw in the Germans' MG34.
I was gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
If I had to go with the small arms, I would go with that.
Yeah, if it's small arms, Garand 1911, but if you expand it from that, the MG34.
I was gonna say the Flak 88, but
but I mean the MG34.
Good gun, dude.
Yeah.
Good gun.
Every
No argument
veteran that I remember growing up that were with my grandfather, I didn't really understand what they were talking about when they talked about the buzzsaw until I watched the movie Saving Private Ryan. And even though it's a movie,
the zipper,
on the landing, even though it's a movie, those were still authentic MG34s that they were using. And I know the guy in Hollywood that provides all the weapons to all the movie houses, and that machine gun, my God, it was one of those things. It's like the way the Germans made Mercedes. Everything, the engineering is incredible. The MG34 was engineered so well that, I mean, it wouldn't do what the 240 does now. The mud, the dirt, the sand, but
it came out in 1934, for Christ's sake.
But when it was clean of all debris, it was a buzzsaw.
Elevated Agenda, threw down 5 bones. Can't wait to train with you guys this week.
Nice.
I've been wanting to come to your class for a long time. Guys, this week I am literally been on the range all day. We're going to be on the range through Saturday night. Got a night shoot Friday night. So I'm going to be wore out. But so if you're emailing me, texting me, calling me, understand, I give 110% of my classes.
Yes,
I'm going to be out at the range.
Yes, he does.
Non-stop. I try to make sure you guys get your money's worth. All right. Got one here for Steve. Jonathan Camp threw on 2 bones. Steve, did you bring your haversack?
I did not bring my haversack, and that occurred to me.
It's okay. You don't have to.
I was running a little late today because I needed to be here early so I can
8 hours
hang out with Carl and Emery and their patron. And as I pulled up, and after we had a wonderful steak dinner, which it was some good steak, and I was going over the gear that, discussing with Dominic, it occurred to me that I'm now going over to the live stream, and I did not bring my haversack.
It's all good, dude.
We love you, though. We love you anyway.
Austin Burke here with $5. Thank you for answering 2,000 rounds and 0 malfunctions on my shadow systems.
Nice.
So, dude, as long as it's running good for you, golden. Go with. I'm very big on run your gear at our classes. I love it when we have AKs right next to Tavors, right next to Daniel Defense, right next
M1As.
to Bushmasters. I've had guys with M1As come take classes.
What was his name?
Austin Burke.
Burke.
Burke. With
love.
love.
Austin Burke. That brings up something in my head. I'll give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Gemini Burke, because he and his wife and his son finally made it out of the Ukraine.
Really?
And they were trying to get out through Poland. And he said that the line was like 50 miles long. He made it out through Hungary.
Awesome.
And he barely made it out because his son was 17.
Oh, so they wanted to draft him.
They wanted to draft him. So his story, and I know there's a million refugee stories. Gemini is American born. He's a former United States Marine, and he's a singer. His lineage is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame singer Solomon Burke is his father, and his wife is Ukrainian. His son, Ukrainian American, and we tracked him every day. Phone calls, text, everything. How you doing? What's going on? I'm reaching out to some of the people I know in the South community, and he finally made it out through Hungary. He's back in the United States, and I just want to give him a shout out. Well done.
he goes on. Would love for you to go. Would love if you could. Love if you could review.
Oh, the Shadow
Honest,
Systems.
dude, I don't know anybody at Shadow Systems. If Shadow Systems reached out to us and asked us to do a review, I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. All right, guys. Hold on. I just had another couple more come in. Buford T. Justice. That's Chad Mormon.
Oh, is it?
He threw down 10 bones. Chad, how you doing, brother? You know we love you. And then the Clever Conquistador. Hey, Susan. To ask Carl if that green tip will tear up chrome line barrels. PR, they safe to shoot in any barrel. Thank you for your time. Honest, guys, all U.S. military ammo is copper jacketed. It is safe for the barrel. Now, let me see if I got a A2 round here. I don't think I do. Green tip. The green tip is 62 grain. All right. Everybody's familiar with 62 grain. It has a small, mild steel penetrator up in the nose. It's not there for penetrating barriers, though it makes it barrier blind. It's actually there to lighten the projectile because they were trying to get down to 55 grain. They needed a longer bullet for the saw back in the 80s. So they went with 62 grain, was as close as they could get it. Now, the added benefit of this 62 grain, because it is a longer bullet, it's a much longer bullet. The added benefit is with the mild steel core in it, it does windshields, car doors, things like that. Great. Now, we have the U.S. military has replaced the green tip with the M855A1 that has a steel tip on it. It's actually like a little Christmas tree sat down in the top of a solid copper projectile. And the copper does not tear up the barrel of the guns. That said, on some of the original M4s using the older PMags, because they have since changed the angle of the follower, the steel tip was scratching the ramps in the mild steel ramps in the lower receiver of the gun. Was not damaging the barrel at all. What damages the barrel is, and the whole gun itself, is because the shorter barrels on the M4s, to get the performance they wanted, that it is a very, very hot round. All right, so there's increased chamber pressure, which is a lot rougher on bolt lugs and throats and everything else. But honestly, for a military that's shooting soft guys in a SIF company, putting 30,000 rounds per their gun a year, they're getting new upper receivers every year. You as a civilian are probably not going to the range and doing 3,000 rounds in a weekend in a 5-day shooting course where each guy is shooting 3,000 rounds, right? 3,000 rounds in a 3-day class, 3 to 5 day class. We as civilians aren't doing that. So the reason why I'm even mentioning that is I'm not saying you don't shoot enough. I'm not. What I'm saying is no other military, no civilian can shoot as much as certain tiered direct action units do. You don't have the budget to buy that much ammo. You just don't. So don't worry about you shooting out your gun. Worry about shooting out your gun for accuracy. And what I mean by that is literally let's say you've got an Accurized 5.56 gun and you're shooting 77 grain Mark 262 Black Hills ammo that is optimized to be Accurized. That 77 grain boat-tailed Sierra Match King projectile is very, very accurate at distance. When the barrel is shot out, basically your first couple inches of the barrel, literally if you run a bore scope down it, you don't have lands and grooves anymore, right? The gun's still going to function reliably. You're not going to have bolt lugs breaking or nothing, but you're going to go from a half MOA gun to a 4 MOA gun because you're just getting different chamber pressures as some gas is escaping around the side of the bullet at a different rate.
Good twist.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's already twisted a little bit by the time it gets locked in. So you're going to lose accuracy before you have to worry about scratching the inside of a gun. Now, let's say your gun, you're out in the middle of the woods and you get a hard grain of sand down the barrel of your gun. Get all this mud, whatever. Understand, depending on what that grain of sand is made out of, it may be a harder substance than your steel barrel, right? Because understand a diamond, I can scratch.
Let's give a piece of perspective here. Sand, also referred to as very small glass, right? Depending on, like you said,
very, very
what
hard.
material that sand is actually made of. Glass has a Rockwell C. Diamonds. Let's go this way. Diamonds have a Rockwell C rating of 90 something, 95, I think, where a hard knife edge is 57 to about maybe 61, 62. Okay, glass is going to be in between them, so you understand it's harder than your steel. That grain of sand.
All right, so understand also when you pull that trigger, that copper jacket is much softer than the grain of sand, but the copper jacket is a lot softer than the steel of your barrel, right? That's why the copper jacket molds into the lands and grooves. When it goes down in those lands and grooves, it's going to hit that grain of sand. It's going to pinch that grain of sand up against your steel barrel. Potentially could, and it's going to sink into the copper, but it still can potentially scratch your barrel.
Yep.
You get a scratch in your barrel. If you have scoped a gun that has been beat to snot, had rust in it and everything, you're going to get more pitting and damage to your guns from rust than you are from scratching it with any steel ammo, things like that. So protect your guns, keep them clean, keep them lubricated. But you scratching a gun with green tip, nada. Don't worry about it. That is a full copper jacket that's actually got green paint on the top. That's it. That's a full copper jacket. No steel is touching your barrel at all. Excellent question, though, guys. See, those are the kind of questions I like, guys. Guys, we are caught up, and we are literally at our 2-hour mark. So we're going to wrap this up for tonight. Again, I want to give a big shout out to Armslist Firearms Marketplace. Again, guys, if you want to sell something, if you want to buy something, you want to deal with local FFLs or you want to deal with national FFLs, they've literally got 1,300 FFL dealers in their network. But you can also sell your stuff there. You pay a little monthly fee. You get up. It's called Armslist. You go to armslist.com and check it out. This one is, I want to thank them for supporting us. I want to thank Steve for coming on today. I want to thank my moderators. Specifically, I want to thank Susan Britcher because she does so much more than just what my other moderators does. She is keeping, getting the Patreon class down there in Texas. She's the one coordinating all the hotel rooms, the meals, everything, interacting. She takes all that off my plate, so I don't have to mess with it.
She's working the G staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For everybody else, same thing. Emery, Steve, thanks for being on the live stream tonight.
Always.
I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. Legitimately, we have had, and we still got 317 guys here. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
like 403.
But one more thing, as I mentioned earlier,
378.
When we had this discussion about the Ukraine, and I mentioned that my brother-in-law, Gemini Burke, his wife and his son, they made it out through Hungary. Yep. They're back here in the United States, and I know a lot of the viewers kind of disagree with my opinion on the Ukraine. But what you have to keep in mind is I'm talking about the politics of what's happening within the Biden administration. I'm not talking about the people of the Ukraine. And that's why when a lot of the viewers ask stuff like, Carl, do you think we're going to have a civil war? We're going to have a civil war. And I will always say, you don't want a civil war.
Yeah, you don't.
You do not understand what it's like to lose all of your utilities, all of your access. There's no more grocery stores. There's no more running water. There's no more electricity. You can plan for that, but why would you want to have such an uncomfortable life?
No.
And to my brother-in-law for getting his wife out and getting their son out, again, they made it out, tried through Poland. They made it out through Hungary. He was 17. They didn't want him out. And from my understanding, and I'll have to talk to him again to get the story right, but one of the car dealers wanted to get his Mercedes out of the country at the same time. So he gave Gemini one of his Mercedes and said,
Nice.
and from what my other brother-in-law told me, Hank, Gemini was driving like 108 miles an hour heading for the Hungary border. I said, he must have learned from Carl. Because Carl, oh my gosh, my first time truly riding with you, and we all go through tactical driving schools. I went through Bondurant driving school, everything else. Yeah. But when you're driving, it's one thing. When you're riding, it's another. And that trip to Vermont was my first ever ride with you. And I told Jay, I said, hey.
He never fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee you won't
the thing
fall
is,
asleep.
when you do go to sleep, you said, I'm either going to wake up in Western New York, or I'm going to wake up in heaven.
In green pastures.
Because
flowing weed all
when I
around.
told Jay said, hey, Steve, what you got going on? I said, I'm going up with Carl and Randy, going up to Vermont, do some tactical training with law enforcement. He goes, you riding with Carl? I go, yeah. He goes, have you ever rode with Carl before? I go, no. He said, tell me about it when you get back.
Great.
So can you imagine my brother-in-law, Gemini Burke, and like I said, he's a former Marine, heading to the Hungary border out of the Ukraine in a Mercedes, 108 miles an hour.
I'd be moving. I'd be smoking. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. We'll see you guys next Tuesday, same bat time.
And always shepherd the weak, okay? Because the path of the righteous man has been set.
On all sides.
On all sides. By the iniquities of the selfish or the greedy. And
you want me to pull it down?
Yeah, it's here somewhere.
Yeah, of evil men. All right.
There you go. There you go.
Blessed is he who, in the name of charity
you know what he meant.
and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. So, people, shepherd the weak.
There you go. Final note for today: shepherd the weak. You guys, you know the deal. Y'all take care and shoot straight.
Incoming right there.